Good morning, Marisa.
Morning, Charmaine.
I'm here today with Marisa Matos, who is a functional nutritional therapist and has a background in microbiology and genetics. And I think you specialize in complex chronic illness and in aging and longevity.
Yes.
And you're a lecturer as well. But today we're going to be talking about women and hormones.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
very excited about this topic. It's such a huge one because we, in practice, see so many women who are struggling with hormones, especially when we enter that perimenopausal area. But I think problems start perhaps a little younger than that even.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Charmaine. Thanks for the introduction. So it's not just women and hormones, it's actually women and optimizing our hormones and being able to work with our hormones. So I think, for so long, women have been challenged and raised in a society that expects them to just do so much, raise kids, look after their husband, be a friend, be a wife, be a mother, get a career, all of these things. But we've never been sat down to actually discuss or been taught about our own physiology and how we can actually use that to our benefit. So we've always been taught that, you're gonna start your menstrual cycle at around, between 11 and 13, and it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to be miserable, and you're just going to get on and deal with it, until you go into menopause. And nobody really sits down and actually explains the different phases and how some of those hormones are actually really beneficial in a way that can optimize our well-being and optimize our performance. So it's really looking at how we can sync with our hormones naturally to increase our well-being and our performance and actually really benefit us all the way through post-menopause.
So what do you mean by that on a practical level? What would it mean to sync up with your hormones?
So when you sit down with majority of young girls today, they don't actually even understand that there's different phases of our cycle. They see it as one period that lasts a few days and is really uncomfortable. But during those different phases, we actually have different hormones at play. So some will be increasing and some will be decreasing. And they actually allow us to be or perform differently, think differently, feel differently during those times of the month. So syncing with those hormones means perhaps eating differently, exercising differently, doing different tasks in work. And when we actually sync with those different phases of the cycle, we can actually increase our performance in everything that we do.
Interesting. You mentioned something earlier on when we were just chatting about exercise and saying that, some women are exercising incorrectly at different phases and struggling with weight. Can you say a bit more what you meant by that?
Yeah, absolutely. So at different phases of the cycle, as I just mentioned, we should be exercising differently. So certain exercises will influence particular hormones that need to be a little bit higher, but it's actually driving them a little bit lower. And so we really need to think about how we exercise at some times of the month. Cardio is great, and at other times of the month, strength training or even yoga is better to optimize those hormones at that time of the month. And depending on age, as we go into perimenopause, and as early as 35, when our hormones start doing a drastic shift, we really need to think about how we exercise. So we don't want to be running on a treadmill, 7 days a week, every day of the year. We're actually working against our hormones. And in fact, some women, it's very depressing for some women because they'll be doing that. They'll be thinking they're eating correctly and they're exercising correctly, and then they gain weight.
Yes,
they don't understand why.
Just wanted to come back to a couple of times you've mentioned, women are told your periods are going to be uncomfortable. Suck it up and get on with it. But are our periods meant to be uncomfortable? Are we supposed to have pain and, you know, PMT and all of these things? Is that normal?
No, and I mean, we have to be honest, we live in a toxic world. So we are fighting against quite a lot of toxins, against a lot of toxins in our food even. But if we learn to eat according to our cycle, or to take certain supplements at certain times of the cycle that would, you know, really support the cycle, we can minimize that discomfort, and we can minimize the pain that a lot of people go through. And especially when we go into perimenopause, because our hormones then start doing a whole lot of different things. You know, women are getting anxious, depressed, going to the doctors, being told that they're just anxious and depressed. And it's really just an imbalance of hormones, and all we need to do is work to make sure that we're balancing those hormones, and that the hormones are the way they're meant to be throughout the year.
And when you do that, you shouldn't really have any symptoms around periods.
No,
yeah,
no. In fact, you should be at certain times around the month, you should really be feeling quite powerful as a woman, and being able to really step into yourself and achieve quite a lot.
So that could be interesting if you're thinking about scheduling certain important meetings and things.
Absolutely. So this becomes really important for those real high-flying females that are working in, you know, big corporate positions, going into perimenopause, moving into menopause, especially when hormones are starting to shift quite drastically. If you can learn to sync your hormones, then you'll know what times of the month are better to hold that board meeting, what times of the month are better to ask for that promotion, that raise, you know, and what times of the month are better to just maybe work from home remotely and catch up on your admin. All of these things that you learn to work better, perform better, and achieve more when you start syncing with your hormones.
So yeah, just to wrap this up, we have created a 6-week journey for women to go on. We think it's an incredible journey to go through, to learn about our cycles, our hormonal patterns. Tell us a little bit more about what's in that journey.
Yeah, so it's a transformative journey. It's really going to take you from the very beginning, things that we probably should have been taught at school, what our cycle is, what the 4 phases is. Then we're going to learn about ways to eat, ways to exercise, what tasks are better to do, what self-care routines are better to do, what supplements are better to take. So much is going to be really jam-packed into what we do at each phase of this cycle, so that we can come out the other side, sync with our cycle, optimize well-being, optimize health, and increase performance.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and very much look forward to the 6 weeks journey.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Charmaine.